Defender of Freedom uploading data logs for day 119 to 122 of the Galactic War. Hello Data Archive. We have spent much of the last few days celebrating the success of the utter decimation of the Meridian supercolony by cleansing our planets of the disgusting pests. However, a familiar foe has become the primary focus of our new major order as we begin our counteroffensive. Still high on the success of the previous days, Helldivers spent the morning of day 119 focusing on Errata Prime and the cleanup of the stinky bugs from the ex-Meridia supercolony. By 0750, Errata Prime was once again liberated, returning full control of the Umlaut sector for Super Earth once again. Continuing the efforts of the current major order, Helldivers from Errata Prime refocused their deployments to the rocky and rainy Akamar 4. Though the stupid bugs may have taken a significant blow due to our humongous success with zero chance of any repercussions in Meridia, Helldivers are still seeing increased resistance on the liberation of these planets. This resulted in slow progress in the morning hours leading up until 1140, when an Automaton attack reached our training facilities on Acer Pass. High Command shared in a strategic update the importance to defend Acer Pass. Each planet with a training facility located on it generates 5% increased liberation support. Thus High Command strongly recommended the prioritization of Acer Pass. With this dispatch reaching all Helldiver superdestroyers, of course many brave Helldivers aware of the significance of this planet deployed to the defense. However, many Helldivers remained on Akamar 4 and Fact Bay to continue to support the major order. The battles continued on these three planets throughout the remainder of the day and into day 120, and by 0928, Akamar 4 was liberated. Unfortunately, without sufficient Helldiver support, the Acer Pass defense failed at 79%. The trading facilities on the planet were lost with no survivors, and they cannot be rebuilt. This loss will roughly reduce our liberation efforts on all planets by approximately 5%. The situation against the Socialist Toasters worsens by the day. Fortunately, our remaining two trading facilities on the Terminid front are now no longer on the front lines, fully secured behind the Umlaut sector. Fact Bay remained the only planet left to complete the major order, and the majority of Helldivers deployed to finish cleaning up the last planet. The hot temperatures combined with the vicious sandstorms resulted in very challenging fighting conditions against the bugs. Resistance on the planet was high, and at times the size of the swarms seemed insurmountable. But the bravery and self-sacrifice of the Helldivers can only be beheld. Our planets will be free from their tyranny. The liberation of Fact Bay continued through day 120 into the opening hours of day 121, seeing its liberation and the completion of the major order, securing the Genshi sector and returning to a once familiar state on the Terminid front. The Terminid infestation was cleansed from enough planets to undo most of the crisis forced upon our citizens by the unnatural supercolony. The planets outside the quarantine zone have elevated spore levels compared to before the supercolony. While we were able to secure our planets on one side, the planets beyond the Umlaut sector were also further infested by the supercolony. But with the victories provided by the Helldivers, Super Earth citizens can begin resettling their abandoned homes. In the past weeks, our focus was diverted from the Automaton front, and the unprovoked attacks against democracy have claimed large portions of our galaxy. But with the arrival of new major orders on day 121, the time for our return counteroffensive against the Socialist Toasters has finally arrived. The electronic idiots have continued their reign of tyranny, ruthlessly colonizing and exploiting planetary resources from planet to planet. In addition, we have several gaps in our knowledge, such as the originating location of the invasion fleet and the reason behind the apparent Automaton focus on Cyberstan. There has been treasonous, wild speculation, but no confirmed facts. High Command has directed Helldivers to liberate what's that?
The Wasat system.
Right, but which one?
The Wasat system.
Right, of course. The planet where they have identified a large Automaton data center, codenamed Database 1. What toaster comes up with these names? Perhaps next we'll find Database Series Coward. It is apparent, however, that the bots went to extensive efforts to keep this data center secret and hidden, and we must uncover it. Our goal evermore continues to be the end of the Automaton's illegal occupation of our territories. With a directive from High Command, Helldivers pivoted their deployments to focus on Wezen for the remainder of the day. The conditions on Wezen were horrific, wrought with constant firestorms, and our initial deployments were also met with very high resistance. Progress in our efforts did not move quickly in the opening hours of the liberation. At the end of day 121, we were already looking to be behind the pace to reach Database 1 in time. But several hours into day 122, the relentless efforts of the Helldivers began to punch through their defenses, and Automaton resistance on the planet began to slip. Seizing the advantage, battles on the planet raged on until the evening of day 122. Our first liberated planet in the counteroffensive was completed. The electronic idiots were defeated on Wezen, completing a third of the required liberation for this major order and significantly closing the gap on our pace. For the remainder of day 122, Helldivers were eager to move on to the icy Vega Bay to cool off after the battles on Wezen. Initial bot resistance on the planet is high as expected, but if similar to the liberation of Wezen, it is only a matter of time before we break through and make significant progress. This concludes this data log for days 119 to 122 Data Archive. It is time to refocus our battles against the useless appliances, whose only objective is to destroy our way of life. We are dropping Helldivers onto Vega Bay.